Hey guys, welcome to Y&R Daily News YouTube channel. Today's topics. In the midst of the young and a restless ongoing wave of changes, Tamara Braun has become the focus of fans' anticipation as she dropped a Hollywood signal ahead of her first episode as Sienna Beale. With Sienna's debut airing date set, the question is no longer when, but what will Sienna do and how far will she go? At the same time, whispers of a shocking identity secret, Audra's biological mother may be Sienna herself, are adding fuel to the fire of curiosity. Braun's return is thus more than just a cast addition. It's the start of a new dramatic arc, dark enough, deep enough, and bold enough to shake up both Los Angeles and Genoa City. The casting announcement for Tamara Braun has set off a chain reaction. Viewers die for clues. Prediction sites race to decode. And internally, Sienna's story pieces begin to take shape. She's not a character who just appears to be beautifying the screen. Sienna has a plan, a network, and a reason to set foot in the dense noir atmosphere of Los Angeles, where the neon lights are not bright enough to illuminate all the dark corners. And every decision has its price. Leaked news confirms that Sienna will plunge into a dark plot revolving around Noah Newman, a man who tried to lead the chaos to find peace. But fate on Y&R has never been so simple. When Sienna appears, Noah's peace turns out to be just the surface. Underneath are old debts, new grievances, and a web of relationships that can shake up with just the right touch. The first explosive point is the question of Audra's parentage. If Sienna is Audra's mother, the story will be redefined from the root. Audra is a master manipulator, accustomed to using psychological advantages, speed, and secrets to turn the situation around. But every ruler has a weak point, and motherhood is the softest and deepest crack. Sienna, with her complicated Hollywood experience and unpredictable skill set, may be the one to make Audra slow down. If the secret is just a bait thrown by Sienna herself, the effect is the same. Audra will, instead of looking forward, have to look back to distinguish between truth and falsehood. In that game, Noah is drawn into the vortex, not only because of his personal connection to Audra, but also because of his indispensable role in the Los Angeles network that Sienna brings. Sienna is introduced as a character with line weight. She comes in with her own rhythm. The LA space in Y&R this time is sketched in the style of modern film, noir, clubs, galleries, backstage photo shoots, and street corners where rumors move faster than sports cars. There, Sienna acts like someone who knows the pulse of the city, knows where the buzz is, where the handshakes are hidden. She has an excellent ability to read the room, to know who is hungry for power, who is afraid of revealing secrets, who just wants to live in peace, and then puts them in a position where they have to choose. With Sienna, the choices are never black and white. They are contractual grey areas, verbal side conditions, pieces of evidence that can be dropped or thrown at the right time. From a production perspective, Sienna's air date is confirmed. Tamara Braun will make her debut on Y&R on October 14th. That milestone creates a clear countdown, allowing viewers to expect a purposeful entrance where Sienna not only debuts, but also immediately pulls a crucial thread connecting LA to Genoa City. The moment is made all the more intriguing by the fact that Braun hinted at some details about the role in an interview with TV Guide. Sienna has a thick emotional layer, can't resist the pull of danger, and has an old debt to someone whose name is not mentioned. That last detail leaves open the possibility that the debt is from her Hollywood past, career-related, or a youthful mistake that has become a scar that continues into the present. Whatever it is, it's enough to make it impossible for Sienna to retreat when the storm comes. The addition of Roger Howarth, a familiar face with the ability to smoothly transition between characters, and Detective Burrow, also signals that the LA operation won't stop at the scale of personal feelings. If Howard's character straddles the line between legal and illegal, he'll be the bridge that Sienna uses to navigate the procedural fences or the counterweight ready to shut the valve if she goes too far. Detective Burrow, meanwhile, represents institutional pressure. LA Noire will no longer be a game of rules breaking. It will become a battlefield where every move risks running afoul of the official investigation. The Howard Burrow parallel creates the sense that Sienna, no matter how deaf, must answer to someone. Subscribe our channel for more latest update. And it's that someone that gives the story its staying power. Internally, Sienna's connection to the characters is clear. For Noah, it's a connection that's both emotional and artistic, where creativity inadvertently becomes a vehicle for information and emotion. For Audra, it's a tangled thread between blood and power. If mother and daughter, Sienna would try to manage Audra emotionally. If not, she might still use the scenario as an information warfare tactic to keep her in check. For Roger Howard's character, Sienna could be a tactical ally. The two exchange doors to different interest groups in LA. And for Detective Burrow, Sienna is an unpredictable target, one that the detective must set multiple traps for, because any mistake is enough to let her slip through. As the big story draws closer, Sienna news is coming in more often. Broadcast schedules, behind-the-scenes looks, short but suggestive role descriptions, and a series of small clues scattered about filming locations. Iconic props, co-stars in the first scene. All of it creates a prediction map for the audience. In that map, October 14th is marked in red, not only because it is the first appearance, but also because it promises a hook that will make viewers have to follow the entire LA block to understand why Sienna is there, what she is looking for, and how much she is willing to trade. For a character who knows how to use looks, smiles, and silences as leverage, the hook will most likely not be an explosion. It will be the key inserted into the lock at the right time, opening the door for the audience to see a completely new room in the Y&R house. From a character perspective, Sienna is a test for Audra, who is used to walking alone and believes she can read everyone. If the secret of her identity is confirmed, Audra will face the most difficult problem: how to balance power, which she is not willing to give up, and the feeling of recognition, which she rarely allows herself to demand. If the secret is just a hypothesis, she still cannot underestimate Sienna, because forcing Audra to think is already a strategic victory. In this aspect, Sienna is not like Summer or Sally, who often collide with Audra in the love-money orbit, but more like an architect who comes to rearrange the chessboard, confident that her design will be built on schedule. The drama also comes from the way LA affects Genoa City. Once the LA line heats up, businesses, media, and powerful families in Genoa City will not be able to stay out. The midnight calls, the contracts with confidentiality clauses, the view, do not reply messages, will appear with high frequency. At that time, the character in GC will have to ask himself, is Sienna a risk or an opportunity? Try to stop her, or join hands with her to handle the mess in the least damaging way. And in all options, Noah will always be the one stuck in the middle, because he has a lot to lose. Creative freedom, relationships, and even his newly rebuilt honor. In terms of pacing, the choice to put Sienna in a noir space from the beginning is a reasonable decision. It allows the character to take a detour to get to the center of the story, instead of plunging straight into the old conflicts of Genoa City. Anchors like Roger Howarth's character and Detective Burrow give the LA framework investigative legal weight, preventing the script from drifting into pure melodrama. Meanwhile, the Audra's mom hook is both emotional and strategic, making every Sienna-Audra scene potentially a chemistry measured by the silence between the two before they speak their first words. Finally, Tamara Braun's pre-Hollywood teaser shows that she knows how to keep the anticipation in check. A small detail, an open-ended answer, and a locked-in airtime, all combine to build a countdown atmosphere. For Y&R, the October 14th moment is more than just a casting event. It's a declaration of a darker, more conditional, more negotiating chapter of LA, where Sienna Ball isn't there to ask permission to be in the frame, but to ask questions that everyone must answer. And while the answers are yet to come, audiences will remain glued to the screen, knowing that every time Sienna enters the frame, the plot clock ticks one notch further toward chaos. In short, tomorrow, Bronze Sienna Beale is being built as a new catalyst, a character with enough history, enough secrets, and enough courage to pull Noah out of his comfort zone, force Audra to confront what she's been avoiding, and challenge the order that LA and Genoa City thought was right. With Roger Howarth's character and Detective Burrow joining the mix, the story is not just about fire, but also about law, not just about emotion, but also about consequences. Subscribe our channel for more latest updates. As the pieces come together, October 14th will be the official opening. Fans won't just meet Sienna, they'll see her choose her battleground, her allies, her weapons, and force the rest of us to choose too. And that's when Y&R shows why secrets in Hollywood have never been just behind the scenes. As The Young and the Restless plots its course, Sienna Beale steps in as an early warning sign of a seismic shift on the border between Genoa City and Los Angeles. Tamara Braun planted a thread of intrigue in the audience before the show even aired. Sienna is involved in a mysterious Hollywood club, and she's surrounded by just enough smoke and mirrors to obscure her true motives. This isn't just a character introduction tactic. It's a promise that the LA line will inject a noir vibe into Y&R, where club lights and backroom dealings can determine the future of key relationships. In an odd coincidence, Braun's suggestion lines up with what viewers heard from Sharon Newman and Nick Newman's conversation about Noah, a new branch of the club in Los Angeles. A developer has reached out, and a meeting is set in LA. When these pieces are closed, the only path points to Sienna, a woman who can read the room faster than anyone, and always knows how to put the right words to the opponent's weak points. The level of drama is heightened when the mysterious element of Audra's identity is revealed. What surprises await when Audra finds her mother? The moment that question appears, all the familiar rules of power, control, and survival, the things that are Audra's fuel, suddenly shake. If Sienna is really the key to the past, all of Audra's calculations will no longer be purely rational. If Sienna is just a cleverly placed mirror for Audra to question herself, the psychological effect is still the same. In both scenarios, the attraction lies in the fact that Audra is a person who lives by secrets. But this time, the secret finds her in a way that forces her to react publicly. Sienna, with her profile of running a club in Hollywood, as Braun teased, holds in her hands not only the glittering stage, but also the ecosystem of relationships. Investors with plenty of money but no reputation, artists with plenty of talent but no access, media with plenty of desire but no proof, and a group of brokers standing in the middle of every exchange. The club, therefore, is no longer a setting. It is a tool of power. When the project developer proactively sought Noah, the bridge between Genoa City and LA was immediately formed. Noah was on his own creative trajectory, the dream of expanding the club brand, with a branch with a personal flavor, emphasizing experience and aesthetics. But the artistic dream only needs to take a step back to touch interests, where contracts, investment capital, licenses, premises, media guarantees, and accompanying conditions are not written down. In this situation, Sienna is presented with two possibilities. Either she is in cahoots with the developer and knows exactly why he really wants Noah, or she is being coerced into cooperating and is trying to do damage control to keep herself and the club safe. Either way, Sienna has to tell Noah that this is a great opportunity, even if she knows the water is muddy underneath. Because sometimes in the culture of night deals, outright rejection is more dangerous than compromise, and tactful delay is the only way to buy time. The involvement of Nick and Sharon, who plan to visit Noah while he's in the States, is more than just familial. They are two sets of outside eyes looking in, a mirror of how risky LA is for Noah. Sharon is a keen reader of emotions, sensitive to small breaks in the rhythm of her loved ones. Nick is pragmatic, wary of anything too good to be true. When they both arrive in Los Angeles, they will feel the slippery surface. Everything is shiny but slippery. Every invitation has a hook. It is here that Sienna's role is tested. If she chooses transparency, she must pay the price of the forces that are using the developer to insert conditions. If she chooses ambiguity, she can save Noah from an imminent stumble, but drag him into a web of debt that is difficult to break. And in both choices, the only fulcrum is the ability to negotiate in silence, something that savvy club operators often use. A look, a pause, a last-minute change of schedule, a technical problem that happens to happen at the right time. What makes this storyline so compelling is how it fits into Y&R's internal logic, while also opening up new emotional dimensions for each character. For Noah, it's a difficult balance, how to maintain artistic integrity when the commercial structure demands smart compromise. For Audra, it's a game of control versus emotional vulnerability. If her mother really does come back, she faces her need for validation. Subscribe our channel for more latest updates. If it's all a trick, she must confront how she's been manipulated by her fear of losing control. For Sharon and Nick, LA will be a test of intuition and protective instinct, whether to stand aside and let her son make his own decisions, or intervene before it's too late. And for Sienna, it's a real moral dilemma, preserving the ecosystem she manages, the club, the people, the reputation without becoming a cog in the conspiracy to swallow someone else's dream. The detail that Sienna runs a club in Hollywood is more than just a job description. It's an explanation for how she can slip through layers of doors that ordinary people can't see. In Hollywood, clubs are literally a hub. Artists debut, investors hunt for leads, reporters scrutinize news, photographers capture moments, lawyers review risks, and people like Sienna stand at the center, tilting their hands slightly, and the whole room shifts focus. So when the developer approaches Noah, the question isn't, does he want to open a club, but who does he want to pay the way for? The answer lies in how Sienna moves her troops, who she lets Noah meet first, what terms she hears, how she signs the contract, what script she'll use for the first night, and most importantly, who gets to stand next to Noah in the media photos. In a world of secret deals, who stands next to whom is sometimes a preliminary contract. The emotional anchor cannot be ignored. The surprise when Audra finds her mother. If Sienna is Audra's mother, the scenario will take a turn. The club is no longer a stage of power, but becomes home, where two strong but insecure women learn to get used to not always being right. Sienna can try to make amends by prioritizing Noah's safety, both as an apology to the younger generation and as a way to prove to Audra that power is not necessarily built on fear. Conversely, if Sienna is not Audra's mother, the mother-daughter leverage is still a test of bravery. Is Audra cold enough to see it as a psychological trick? And is Sienna brave enough to withdraw from the game when she sees the consequences are beyond her control? Both will be defined not by their declarations, but by their silence in the face of temptation. From a narrative perspective, Bron's hint at the Hollywood club allows Y&R to create a natural entry point for Sienna. Instead of having her appear in Genoa City and then find her way to LA, the story places her right at the epicenter from the start. where the lines of interest collide at high velocity. It also gives early episodes an advantage. The scene can be rich in rhythm, lighting, music, steps, glances, and every little detail can become a plot hook. Then the promise of a drama that Brune emphasizes comes true. No need for rapid-fire dialogue, just a constant push-pull of situations. The key date for viewers is October 14th, the day tomorrow Braun officially debuts as Sienna Ball. The clear timeline helps all the speculation land. Before that, the episodes will set the stage for LA. On the day of the airing, Sienna enters like the eye of the storm. Then, the domino effect spreads back to Genoa City. By announcing the airing date and dropping just enough hints, the Y&R creative team has designed a long runway for the script plane to take off smoothly. Then accelerate on the right note. All viewers have to do is watch to see which suggestion Sienna will say yes to, which suggestion she will ignore, and why. Finally, that Hollywood thriller layer you emphasize will work if the story maintains 3 principles. Every advantage has a price, every secret has an accomplice, and every nod has a tiny letter in the footer. In that world, Sienna is the one who knows the rules, and sometimes she is the invisible law. Whether she's colluding or being coerced, whether she's Audra's mother or just a wise mirror, Sienna is the epicenter that makes Noah, Audra, Sharon, and Nick examine their own boundaries. And when the lights go out for the first time on soft opening night, the silence between the beats is the loudest sound because it says something has been agreed upon that no one else can hear. So, as the clock counts down to October 14th, The Young and the Restless isn't just inviting viewers to meet Sienna Ball. It's inviting them into a dark room where everyone knows their target, but only the club's manager knows which door leads out. Stay tuned, because any turn in Hollywood could be a tsunami that sweeps through Genoa City, and once it hits, no one will be left standing. Subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with the latest news. Subscribe our channel for more latest updates.